So here we have the ingredients for our muffins, and instead of refined white flour and refined sugar, we're going to use some unrefined alternatives. The basis for our flour is meal, almond meal, and coconut flour. Instead of white sugar, I'm using Demerara sugar. I have some baking powder. This is some Ova Easy, which is the absolute best egg alternative that I've ever found. I love the way it cooks up, and it looks just like eggs once you scramble it and cook it. And cocoa powder. For the chocolate chips, and I use the mini chocolate chips. And before I get a bunch of emails saying chocolate chips aren't paleo, yeah, I know that, but I just didn't want to buy the paleo chocolate chips, the ones that don't have the refined sugar in it. And then for fat, in an earlier video I did on the little clarified butter pouches, I'm just having a craving for some coconut. So I'm actually going to use some coconut cream. And this is similar to what you get in the pina colada mixes, that kind of coconut cream, except this doesn't have any added sugar. So this is my fat. The only thing with the coconut cream is that in the wintertime, or if it's below 70 degrees temperature, it solidifies. So it's kind of a pain to use in the wintertime or when it's colder out. I like to use this in the summertime along with the clarified butter. And if you're gonna go winter camping, it might be easier to just do a little pouch of oil. I'm on my way right now to do some day hiking at a local state park. I wanted to talk a little bit, reflect on trail food in general, because I think for the most part a lot of people don't eat very well on the trail, and I'm not judging. Sometimes people just go out there and want to eat what's easy and good, and that's great, you know, it tastes good. But when I'm backpacking, you know, you're burning a lot of calories, you're putting a lot of stress on your body, you're oxidizing through the stress. It creates a lot of free radicals, and so you need some healthy foods to really recharge your batteries. So enter the paleo diet. That's what I've been following pretty loosely, I might add, for a few months now. So the paleo diet, I'm not really going into the particulars, but basically it's eating the way a caveman would eat. We're eating a lot of foods that have been introduced in the last, 5 to 10,000 years, where the theory with the paleo diet is that our digestive systems have been changed, and this is what's leading to a lot of the modern maladies. A lot of people have digestive problems, colitis, irritable bowel, diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, those kinds of things, not to mention reflux. Which I have a few of those. So anyway, I've decided to revert a little bit more to the primal diet and cutting out dairy, although I do a little bit of, that's where I cheat a little bit because I'm such a cheeseaholic. So I have been doing a little bit of the cultured dairy products. So limiting straight up milk, but doing coconut milk instead. So the difference with paleo eating is, instead of flour, regular white flour, you can have baked goods, but it takes a little more creativity. But we'll get on the trail and I'll show you how to make a healthier muffin instead of one that is a, let's say Betty Crocker or Krusteaz, which is tasty, absolutely satisfying, and it can be filling, but as far as nutrition goes, it's really devoid of nutrition as far as vitamins and minerals, and except for the stuff that's been added back in, which is government mandated. So what we're going to do is we're going to bake with some stuff that's going to give us antioxidants. It's filling. You cannot beat the calories per ounce of nuts, so it's lighter weight. It's more dense nutritionally. And I hope you enjoy it. It's an acquired taste, but one that I have really grown to enjoy. I stopped here in this little shelter out of the wind for a little break. Go ahead and make my muffin. I have my Foster's Pot Cook Kit, my favorites. A little Cuban bag here that I actually came with one of my hammock tarps and hammock gear. So I have a Ziploc with my muffin mix in there, all mixed up. And then I'm going to add just enough water to moisten it. You don't want it too wet because essentially since we're steam baking, it will be more like a pudding than a cake if you put too much water in on the front end. I don't do measurements, just do a little bit at a time until you get it close to the consistency you want, but still a little dry, because we still have to add the best part, well, other than the chocolate, is the butter. So it's so chilly out here, I actually set this butter pouch in my hot water in my Foster's pot in order to melt it. So we're going to knead this really well. Okay, so I have this the consistency that I want it. It's about like a thick cake batter. I've taken a tin can, and you can steam bake any way you want, but for me, inside the Foster's pot, one of these small tin cans fit beautifully. So I prefer steam baking. I prefer to eat the dry baked goods, but they're a little more temperamental. They're harder to cook on the trail without burning. This is just a really easy way to do it, is to steam bake. So whatever fits inside your pot that you can put the lid on. So it's a small can, and I've just lined it with parchment paper. Okay, so I have about 1 inch of water in my pot, and it's heating up. It's almost to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and just drop in my tin can with my mix in it, and I'm going to give that a few minutes to start boiling. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to place my homemade simmer ring on top of the Starlight stove. I'm using a Trail Designs Caldera cone with a Foster's pot with a lid that was made by Intense Angler Outdoors, and the Starlight stove by Zelf, and then a little just homemade simmer ring that I cut out of a little sheet of titanium foil. So that's what it looks like, and it's about 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up in the can. So we're going to pull it out here and see what we've got. Just lift my tin can out with my thumbs, touching the inside of the can right here, and it's usually not terribly hot. I'm just going to lay this out for you here. If you could smell this, oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'll break it open for you. And look at those big chocolate chips all melted up. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy my muffin, and then I have to hit the trail again. So thanks for watching. Happy hiking, Demeter.